Evan with Green Thumb Lawn Care here. We're at a potential customer's lawn we're going to refer to as Mr. M.E. So Mr. M.E.'s lawn, this is just to address one of the questions about maybe why it's suffering here in the front yard a little bit more on this side than anywhere else. He did say that when he dug that flagpole, he had about 18 inches of topsoil, and in most of the yard I was getting about 6-inch, 7-inch cores, mostly 6. Throughout the rest of the yard, and then over here I kept hitting a lot of rock. That may have something to do with it, but I did get one good 8-inch core here, 7-inch core. You see we've just got a little bit of the dark topsoil here, and then we're just basically looking at clay the rest of the way down. So that may be part of the problem with this side. And if we do have a product, it's a clay soil conditioner. So I'll remember that if this soil test does call for that, we'll make sure and kind of apply it heavier over here on this side, just to ensure that we condition that soil to be conducive to lawn growth. Okay, so we get over here to the side. We've got a few grassy weeds. The closer we get to this field, seems to be the heavier they get. That's inevitable with seeds coming over from mowers and things. We've got a few Dallas grass plants, quite a few as far as just an individual number, but they're not everywhere. There's probably 10 or 20 at least. There's a little bit more there. He's got a lot of spurge coming in, a little bit of clover here on the edge, and I've seen some dandelion. There's even a little bit of crabgrass that got in here. Maybe the pre-emergent failed here. There wasn't enough applied. Small amount of nut sedge. And he has had some fungus come through here, and there was a fungicide applied maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we can see the lime green fescue coming up as it recovers, and it'll darken with time and feeding. We've got another Dallas grass plant here, but the Bermuda is pretty strong here in the front. You can kind of see the difference in coloration there. It's pretty widespread. So as I told the potential customer, it's really going to be his tolerance level. We can treat this in the late summer and the spring, or excuse me, early summer and very late spring. We can treat it to suppress the Bermuda, to try to keep it as small as possible, to try to cover as little ground as possible. Just try to suppress it and keep it mostly out of sight. But it won't kill it. It'll still be here. There's some more right here. And then the other option, it's just so widespread. If total eradication is the goal, and it's imperative that we get rid of all of it, then I would say let's do a total eradication, a remove and replace. Just remove everything that's here and replace the whole thing. And I explained to him how it may only look like it's in certain areas, but the way this plant grows is it'll send a runner out, 5, 6, 7 feet to the sides of the main plant, and those may lay low in the grass and we can't see it because of the canopy of the tall fescue. So I wouldn't guarantee any kind of work where we were to cut it up and just try to kill the Bermuda only and not the fescue. It's just too hard to get it that way. It's just not a guaranteed kill. And then even then, you could have a mower bring in some Bermuda seed first thing next summer, and we could get another plant. So I guess nothing's truly guaranteed, but that's the more surefire way to fully get rid of it. So there's the two options: suppression and some more right in here. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere. So it's a matter of tolerance, whether you want to just suppress it and keep it at bay as much as we can without having to kill everything, or do a full remove and replace. I haven't seen anywhere where I could justify not eradicating everything if we were to go that route, because it's just kind of a little bit everywhere. So in the back, we're not in bad shape, and we're really not in bad shape in the front. It's just not optimal. We've got a Dallas grass plant back here, and I explained to him for that, we would just kill a localized spot, but again, it would have to be non-selective, so it would take out everything in that little clump where that Dallas grass was. And then we approach the back patio here, And there was a problem area that he mentioned, and we're going to take a look at. So right here, he said it did fine one year, and it just kind of pushed back and died another year. And this, you can see the Bermuda's capitalizing on this. And it's hard to tell exactly what's going on here until I see it going through the process, but I do know that fescue will, in severe heat, a lot of times next to something like a patio or a dark road, the patio or the dark road will heat up so much it'll basically bake the fescue away from it. But usually when we see that, it's kind of even all the way around, and that's not necessarily the case here. It's just kind of localized to right here. So I'm not sure, maybe if this fire was close to this and it kind of pushed the fescue back a little bit, and then the Bermuda just moved in, or there's something in the soil, just particularly right here. I mean, we won't know until, or maybe even the irrigation is just not, sweeping all the, wherever it's coming from. Maybe it's not covering this as well as it should, but it seems to have adequate moisture. And I haven't found any rock down there, so we'll just have to replant grass there and see how it goes. And again, too, if you have one problem, it can affect other things. It's a compounding effect. So, you might be able to survive getting knocked out, but you can't survive getting knocked out underwater. It's kind of like that with grass. We may have a pH problem here where things are just kind of off a little bit, and then some of the grass just doesn't want to grow that well, and then you have something happen like a heat wave or a drought, and that can knock the grass out of commission. And in that case, it may just been a little bit of heat from that fire, maybe just a little bit of something getting poured out there. I can't be for sure on what it is at this point. But again, over here to this side, it's just all kind of thin here. Just kind of doesn't, it's not really creating a canopy for the ground, for the soil, and it's just under a lot of stress over here. Again, it's one of those things, it's probably a compounding factor of pressure from the weeds from the field, pressure from, this being a little bit of a slope and there's some runoff, but then again, that's sloped as well, and it looks great over there. So, but the soil test will tell us what some of the stressors are that this lawn is under and how to fix it. And you can see that where this lawn is thinner over here, the weeds are really just moving in, capitalizing on the open ground space. Okay, so that's the kind of the scope of the project. It doesn't appear that there's any reason this couldn't be a beautiful lawn. There's just probably one or two or three or four things that just need to be addressed, just to try to button this up and give it the best conditions possible to be a healthy lawn. And one of the things we need to do is check on the biology of this soil, see what's going on, if these microbes that are living down here are doing well, if they're able to break down the nutrients that's being applied to the lawn and then deliver it and make it bioavailable for the plants. That's definitely an important factor, and that's another thing that the soil test will allow us to do and let us know what kind of additives we need to put down. Probably some humic acids to feed the microorganisms, and who knows what else. All right, well, we'll send this off to the lab pending approval, and we'll get going for you. Evan with Green Thumb out.